All right, so hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Davis, and I'm really excited to be here at the Kansas City Wellness Club, sitting next to Dr. Goodbinder from the Epigenetics Center, or Healing Center.
Even better.
Yep, and then we've got Heath Wessling over here, who's the owner here at the Kansas City Wellness Club. And today we are going to talk about men's health, and this is so important. We're actually in the middle of, this is June, Men's Health Awareness Month. And who better than to have these two men here to talk about it and in their own little niches in which they find that they bring a lot of value and information. So thank you guys for joining us today. And for those of you that do end up coming on live, if you have any questions, you're welcome to type those into the chat box and we'll answer those towards the end. We are going to put this video out into YouTube and different places, and I'm sure people might have questions later on in the future. Feel free to put those in the comments as well, and give us a little share love if you're getting the replay, and share this with your friends and family, because this information is going to be pretty valuable today. So, well, we've got a couple of questions that we want to talk about and some topics that we want to go into. And so the first thing is, I just want to know, what do each of you think when you hear about men's health awareness?
Well, I'll start and say, to me, anytime you talk about awareness, you got to talk about both mind, body, soul, all three of those things. But specifically for men, they're very mission oriented, right? They're very purpose driven, and they've been looked at as leaders of families and figures of strength for, throughout history. So for them, it's really important that they understand that they've been humbled, right? When they get off course by that, whenever they trip or stumble, it's harder for men, the masculine, to recover. Women are able to flow with it more. They're able to recover easier, but men, they're on this path. And so they need to recognize that it is tough for them when they fall down to recover. And over the last 20 years, they've been humbled a lot. There's been a lot of life events that have occurred. So it's easy to become apathetic or to take things for granted when in your health. And to me, when I think of men's health awareness, it's simply the removal of apathy when it comes to your health.
Okay.
Yeah, and echoing that, it's fantastic. I think it's really, really very accurate. Everything he said is very, very accurate. And our society really has changed in a lot of ways. And so we always have to adapt to new structures and new norms within society. But I really, when I think of men's health, I think it's like the big secret. Because really, as a man, I know that I'm worried about my kids, I'm worried about my wife, and I want to take care of all of them. I have things that bother me. Now, mind you, I think it's, I'm doing all the proactive things. One of the most important things with any health is to be proactive. You take care of yourself, you eat right, you exercise, you take a little time to let things come down from the day before you interact with your family, so you can be the best father or husband or friend that you can be. Mm-hmm. But when things start to bother you, I think I call it the big secret, because in general, throughout history and even now, men don't really talk about it. It's a secret. When, I may say, it's really funny, actually. I come home and I'll complain about the same things to my wife over and over. And, she's like, you really should go with someone at some point. You've been complaining about that for 2 years. I'm like, yeah, I guess I have. I didn't realize it'd been that long. In my head, it'd been a month. But, men's health awareness is really understanding that men are also important too. And yes, I love my family. And yes, that's my most important thing. I'm the protector. I want to protect my family. I want to make sure they're okay. But I can't take care of my family if I don't take care of myself first. If I'm in a hospital bed, they're the ones who are stuck with the medical bills. They're the ones who are stuck now without their protector, their provider, and the father and husband. Mm-hmm. So it's the great secret.
Wow, I really like that. Yeah, and as a woman, I will never know what that's like for you. And so that, I really love the insight that you guys had there. So the next thing I just want to bring up is, given that none of us are perfect, give me some insight on what you're doing in your own personal lives, how you relate men's health to your own lifestyles, and then what areas maybe you're currently working on.
Do you know what you want to go?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I know for me, it's a lot of walking the walk, right? It's not just how to be a better man more often. It's also the inward treatment when I stumble during challenges or when I make mistakes. As Jennifer said, we aren't perfect, and therefore it is going to happen to everybody. So, what is your self-talk during that time? How do you treat yourself during those moments? And is that fair to you just as much as the way you treat others? Are you doing the same fair treatment to yourself? So for me, that's something that I really work on a lot when it comes to being kind to myself, not to beat myself up too much or putting too much guilt on me when I don't reach the high level of expectations that I have. And then the other thing that I definitely really work on or am working on these days is just simply time management and prioritization. The Wellness Club has over 10 different revenue generating programs, and the task list is pretty long. And so it is always a challenge for me every day and multiple times throughout the day to manage that prioritization list, manage that task list, and get it to a point where I feel I have a balance. And I think Dr. Goodbinder was talking about that a moment ago. And I would love to get to the place that he's at, because this guy seems like he has it figured out. He's always cool and calm and never seems to be rattled.
If that were true. Though it was profound what you just said, actually, about the perfectionist type of thing. We're speaking from a very specific point of view, because we both own our own businesses. I own the Epigenetics Healing Center, it's a giant clinic, and people are coming from all over to be there. You own KC Wellness Club, and there's a super busy place where people come to relax, regenerate, and feel better about themselves. And it is from that point of view where you're working super hard to build something, like it's a family outside of the family. You're building something. So it's very hard anytime you're working really hard at something and it just falls a little short of your expectation.
Right.
Or, you have multiple employees and you can't control everything. And that is one of the most important things to do proactively, is just say, I can't control everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my best. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get every possible good result I can. Something doesn't go my way, it's okay. You don't have to attack yourself. You don't have to demean yourself mentally or physically and go, I should just be so upset about that. No, I'll just move on. So how do we fix it? Let's not complain to ourselves. Let's figure out how to fix it. And with your health, one, it damages you to put yourself under that much stress and strain to be perfect all the time. Secondly, the proactive part. Hey, every single day, well, about 5 to 6 days a week, I get to the gym for an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. My wife lets me build that in. She knows I'm a better father, husband, person, if I'm able to do it. So hour and a half every day. My eating is exemplary. I give myself one cheat day, and even that cheat day is a better bad choice day. I don't ever go way off the rails.
Okay.
Better bad choice day, 1 day a week. I do take some time to myself. I get to my office. My staff gets there around 7:15. We don't open until 7:30. I get to the office at 5:30 a.m. every day. Work on charts and spend some time in my own thoughts. Give myself some time to be me without any expectations. And that's really helpful. But just being a human, being successful, having a big business is going to be difficult, and it's going to wear everyone down. So getting the right supplementation in is important as well. Anything you can do to assist yourself is going to be of paramount importance to make it through your day.
Yeah, I love that.
Excellent.
For sure. So the next thing I want to talk about is, right now, everyone is just really aware of their health due to the health crisis that we've just been through and are continuing to go through. It's the dominant topic of conversation. So in terms of health and wellness, what would you say is the simplest health and wellness advice that you would have for men?
Well, I think, there's a few different things. We know that, this isn't really rocket science. I may say some scientific words here, but it's not rocket science.
We love
right?
Science.
But there are certain things in common amongst people who are not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And your body's not a vacuum. You're not just a pancreas. You're not just a lung. You're not just a liver or a kidney. You're a person. Mm-hmm. And that all works together. And so we know that as we went through the virus that was going around for the last couple of years, as we did the COVID thing, We know that people that were more likely to die or end up in the hospital had significant comorbidities. Comorbidities meaning sickness. They were sick. You know, if your blood sugars are high all the time, your immune system's not going to work because blood sugar and actually vitamin C look very similar on a molecular level.
Right.
And vitamin C can help activate white blood cells. Sugar will basically block vitamin C from activating white blood cells so they can't work right. You'll see a lot of people who are diabetic have really low white blood cells. It's not normal. And so you'll find out a big portion of people who passed with the virus were diabetic. You have things like nitric oxide. People with low nitric oxide levels didn't respond well to the virus. Well, nitric oxide is produced at a cardiovascular level to vasodilate, open your vessels.
Right.
And you get that when you work out really well. You work out hard, you get more nitric oxide, your vessels open, it is anti-inflammatory, you get better circulation. Glutathione, that's your body's major antioxidant, protects you against aging and breakdown. Glutathione is deficient. Almost 100% of our diabetic patients, I'm just using that as an example, are deficient in glutathione. We see it on the labs. I don't guess, we test everything at my clinic. And so those things are important. And you don't just go like, well, hey, you're deficient in glutathione. Let's get you some glutathione. That'll be great. Well, no, there's a reason you're deficient in glutathione.
Right.
So let's fix that. We may supplement you for a little while, but then take you off. Anytime we're worried about a virus or an infectious disease, your body's going to respond better if you're healthier. That should be the takeaway. Hey, maybe we take responsibility for ourselves, make ourselves incredibly healthy, and then we don't have to be scared or worried that our health is going to significantly decline if exposed to some infectious disease.
So more movement, less sugar.
More movement, less sugar. Get out in the sun.
Yeah.
Have that thing beat down on your face. More movement, less sugar. Eat nutrient-dense, calorie-restricted foods.
I love that.
The less oxidative stress we have, the less antioxidants have to work. If you're getting calorie-restricted, less oxidative stress. Nutrient-dense, more antioxidants. They did a study on rats. This is actually really interesting. I love this. Thank you. So they did a study on rats. Rats live about 2 years. And they did a regular diet for the rats. And in 2 years, they were black rats. They turned all white and they were just shaking. They weren't moving. They were alive, but not moving at 2 years. The ones that they fed a calorie-restricted, nutrient-dense diet at 2 years were still black, running around the cage like crazy. They lived on average 40% longer. So if you were going to live to 100 and you continually ate a nutrient-dense, calorie-restricted diet, you live to 140. Your body will not break down the same. You will be younger.
Well, you just got me excited.
Right.
140, I like that. I've been telling people 120, but maybe I'm setting my sights too low. Maybe I need to raise my challenge there. I love what you said. It definitely has the same underlying principle that I said, or that I believe. And Jennifer's question had the words simple. What's the simplest advice? And that's what I think too, is keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make your health over complex. There's a lot of different forces out in the world that want to try to make it seem like it's too complex to understand. And a lot of noises that get amplified, and watch those noises and tune those things out, because it does not need to be complex. Whether it's this latest health crisis of the last year, whether it's any of the other viruses that have happened in the last 20 years alone, whether it's other diseases that we know are always prevalent, like cancer and heart disease and depression. The bottom line is to keep it simple, and know that whether you believe this planet is billions of years old or tens of thousands of years old, humans have evolved and they have adapted to the times, and our fascinating bodies, which are incredibly fascinating given all the different systems that are at work in there, are very resilient. So know that we have adapted to these times, and that you don't need to overly stress about any one specific health issue if you are taking care holistically of your health. So they said some terms there. Yeah. Eat well, move well, sleep well, think well, and that's probably going to equate to you feeling well. And then, of course, you have services like what Dr. Goodbinder provides and what we provide here at the Wellness Club with massage therapy and skincare and hair care. energy healing, coaching. All of these things can stabilize your stress levels so that you are not stressed out and your risks then are lowered for any of those health risks that fill in the blank. Don't make it overwhelming. There's no way you can tackle every single risk other than just living your best life in the most simple, traditional way.
Yeah, and I like what you said about rest well and think well, because getting good sleep and then like making sure we have good open-mindedness to the things that we're doing every day are really important as well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shift and talk about stress now. So it's a common theme just running through the lives of men. You touched on it and you touched on it as well. What would be your best advice to help men manage stressors that impact their life or their health?
I mean, that's difficult. I mean, because we all deal with it, right? So, I mean, how are we going to manage our stress? How is that going to happen? I mean, one of the things that you mentioned, and I said the same thing, was give yourself some grace. It's okay to not be perfect. This is a real thing. Talk about stress. So as a perfectionist, I'm recovering, but a perfectionist, like I want to do the best thing. Like it's my wife's Mother's Day. This is a great story. Feel me on this. This is great. So Mother's Day. Every Mother's Day has basically been terrible for my wife. Always. I try so hard to be perfect on every front, and something doesn't go wrong, and I get angry, and I'm like, make this work. Why are you doing that? You can't, it's just Mother's Day. Come on. And I'm getting mad. And then she gets mad. And I've actually made her Mother's Day terrible because I got mad in the middle of her Mother's Day because things weren't going perfectly to make her happy. And so this last one, I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'll do my best, and I'll just do my best to be loving, even if it doesn't go well. And of course, it didn't go perfect. And I was like, okay. Like I just let things go the way. I didn't try to become Superman. I just let it be. I was part of the world versus the savior of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best. She actually said, this is the best Mother's Day I've ever had.
Nice.
And that was a great feeling. So stress, part of it is real, right? We stress to be as best as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And there's clearly things that can help. If you have certain genetic disorders, we can control the neurotransmitters to calm you down a little bit. If you have a broken circadian rhythm, you don't sleep well, you don't have a ton of energy, there's ways we can re-regulate your circadian rhythm and help you sleep and help you have more energy so that you can embrace the day and not be stressed by the fact that you're just tired and wired all the time. But I think most importantly, to deal with stress, it's okay if we're not perfect. We do our best, and then don't worry about the rest.
Yeah, I like that.
I would say when it comes to managing your stress levels or stress triggers, before you can manage them, you need to understand them. You need to know them. You need to recognize what they are. So if you haven't done that yet, if you don't know what triggers your stress, and maybe you think, oh, I have too many, it's too complex. Let me tell you that it's not too complicated. And you don't have that many. At your core, you probably have around 5, right? Maybe less than 10 for sure. At its core level, you have a handful or two things that trigger your stress throughout your day-to-day life. So start to recognize what those are. Start to acknowledge them. And once you do, then as you're living your life and those stress triggers come up and you react to them the way that you have reacted to them in the past, the way you have a habit built, start to look at what that reaction is doing to you. Is that reaction making you feel better? Is it making you feel more alert? Is it making you feel more energetic? And even though it may pump up your body's cortisol levels, that's a misdirected energy. I mean, does it make you feel lighter? Does it make you feel more clear-headed? Does it make you feel happier? Does it make it feel healthier? And if it doesn't, then start to look at different responses to those stress triggers. Start to catch yourself and recognize, hey, I know this is a stress trigger, therefore I'm not going to get upset by it. I'll say one way I'm really proud is I think I have completely eliminated any road rage at all from my life.
Good job.
I am completely unaffected by anyone who honks their horn at me, anyone who cuts me off, because I've recognized that there's really no response there that is productive or that makes me feel better after I'm done. You know, it all lowers my energy. So So do that. And a lot of times recognize you don't need to respond immediately in the moment. What I like to say is something happens, stop, reflect. First stop, breathe. Breathing is so important. Stop, take a breath, reflect on what just happened, and then respond. And you'll find so much often that you're able to then present yourself in a much better light to that stress trigger than maybe what you historically have a habit for.
One more thing I was thinking about as far as handling stress, because I talked about the mental aspect of it, because there really is, it's grace to yourself. But as human beings, we're meant to move. I mean, human beings don't just sit all day staring at a computer screen. And we can't tell the difference. Our brain, like let's say we watch a movie, your brain cannot tell the difference between a movie or real life. So that's why movies can get you so energized and then crying, because you can't tell the difference. Like, you may know it reasoning wise, but your body can't tell the difference. When you're looking at the phone and going through Facebook and TikTok and Twitter, and there's war going on there.
Yep.
And I want to be clear, those Facebook warriors, those keyboard warriors out there, they are not indicative of the entire population. They are a very specific population of people that comment all the time. They're always posting.
Right.
And you're like, these people, they're not the same as a traditional person who goes, I'll post occasionally when something fun happens or something educational. They're strictly there as unhappy people, and we can't pattern our lives after them.
Right.
We can't allow them to get into us and be like, you're an unhappy person. Why am I going to get involved with this? So that's one thing. But movement is so important. It's actually, we talk about stress. It is highly stressful to not move. To sit in front of a computer all day, that's horrible stress on your body. Horrible. And if you're not moving, when something stressful does actually happen, you're not going to handle it right. Because your cup's already full with the stress because you haven't moved.
Right.
And so then it spills over as soon as it hits. So I just want to put that out. Movement is so important.
Well, and not only that, but we need good stress as well, and movement and moving the body and exercise is good stress for the body.
For sure.
Love that you mentioned social media. That's obviously a huge part of today's culture, and I think a very underestimated stress trigger that a lot of people don't put a lot of emphasis on. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, and I love it when I hear people taking social media fasts,
Right.
and they talk about quality of life improves for them.
Yeah.
So there's something to it.
The problem is that they got all those algorithms hooked into the system. So you stop being on there for a while, and all of a sudden you get all these messages. Oh, this is happening. This is happening. They're like yelling at you. And one of my thoughts is, and this is a real thing that I'm thinking about doing, I just need to do it. But take the social media off your phone.
Yeah.
As a business owner, you have to use social media. But you could definitely take it off your phone and only do it when you get to work at your computer.
Yes.
And therefore you're unhooked.
Yep.
You're done.
I've done that before. It's helpful.
Oh my gosh, I think
You are controlling the social media rather than the social media controlling you.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it needs to be.
It's so interesting. Something meant to be entertaining is not, and it's stressful.
So it's dopamine addiction.
Yeah.
So we are all dopamine addicts. You're dopamine seeking missile.
Yeah.
So you're like sugar, dopamine, blue light, dopamine, notifications, dopamine, drug use, dopamine, alcohol use, dopamine. That high, like some people are adrenaline junkies. I want to go jump off an airplane. I want to go bungee jump. I want to go, whitewater rafting in terrible rapids that could kill you. Dopamine junkies. Those people are a very specific set of the population as well. All of us want dopamine. Some people actually have genetic variants that make them even more so. And that's why you hear addiction within a family. My dad was an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. My mom's an alcoholic. My grandparents are alcoholics. This person's a drug addict. This person had paranoid schizophrenia. It's actually all part of the same thing. And I just threw an outlier out there just to let you know. That's all part of the same thing. So anyways, the point is, everyone wants dopamine. And that's why the social media is so addictive, because the more controversial, the more dopamine happens. And again, we can't say social media is like the population just brought into a thing. It's not. The people who get on there and create all sorts of, they are a specific person. And we should not judge ourselves against those people.
Right. I love that you said that. So really the last thing I want to talk about is how each one of your businesses cater to the health and wellness industry. And I know at the Kansas City Wellness Club, we do have more women as clients. Is that also the case where you're at?
Yeah, we're a doctor's office. So yes, women are more likely to take care of themselves over men. But yeah, we have probably, I'm going to guess 30% of our patients are men.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
So, what are you both doing within your own organizations to kind of like turn the tables on that and, target the men in that way so that they can see that they can come in and enjoy and do better and utilize your services?
Well, if Dr. Goodbinder's looking at me to go first, I mean, I would say, obviously, I'm the owner of this place, and therefore I developed it in ways that I wanted to make sure it did appeal to men. So when we talk about areas that are traditional services offered by or seeked out by men, weightlifting. We got weightlifting here. We got exercise machines. We got circuit training that can happen. We got exercising via virtual reality, which is super fun, and exercising via stretching. And yeah, you heard me right there. Stretching can be an exercise. You think it's something you just warm up or warm down with. You take a stability ball, you do 20, 30 minutes on there of stretching and different core movements. That's a workout, and that's just as fine a workout in my opinion. But then you have traditional massage, sauna and steam bath. A lot of men have a lot of history, especially in Europe and Eastern Europe and Russian countries. Skincare. And one of the things that we can do here is really help you to really minimize getting sunburnt in your life. And I know that could be something that a lot of guys come into. We're not good at that. Actually, Dr. Goodbinder and I were talking about that before this. We can do that here. Hair care as well. Most guys really care about their hair as much as they do as much as women do. They don't admit it. They're not going to show it. They're not going to ever talk about it, but they do put a lot of emphasis into their hair. So hair care here is another big way that we appeal to that. And upstairs in our great Kansas City Club Lounge, we actually just got nominated for the best bachelor party venue in the city. So it's kind of like a men's playground up there. And so we have a lot of things that we cater to try to bring men in, get them excited about wellness, about their own health, and make sure that it appeals to what men traditionally are familiar with, as well as new services and new areas that we know will help them that they may not have been exposed to yet.
Yeah.
I'll be here. So with my practice and the way we've kind of how we cater to some men.
Mm-hmm.
So the way my practice is kept expanding and expanding, and we're expanding at a crazy level, which is, first thing is we are known for the most in-depth laboratory testing anymore. That's what we're known for. People come from everywhere to
vouch for that.
Right. There you go. Like we do something really special as far as trying to find root cause, and people say root cause, but it's literally getting all the way down to a point and keep drilling down to the point of like, yeah, you have that deficiency, but why? Okay, you have this, but why? And we just keep going down until you really hit that target. So that was the first thing that I wanted to add in, because I had autoimmune disease and I had psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis all over. And aesthetically, it's not very good looking to have, red all over your skin with scabs and scales hanging off everywhere and swollen hands that you can't use. So I wanted to fix that. But as my business has grown, everything that I want for me, we're adding into the business. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Excellent.
And so at one point in time, I had no hair on my head. We added in eczema hair restoration. I regrew my hair. So no longer do I bick my head bald anymore. I have hair. Everything from hyperbarics, dropping your inflammation down, increasing athletic performance that way. I have a chiropractor on staff. He adjusts me. He'll tape. He'll do myofascial release, functional and kinetic treatment rehab. Mm-hmm. We have IV nutrients. I wanted to get IVs. So you can do high-dose vitamin C to improve your immune system, glutathione to take care of some inflammation, NAD+. By the way, everyone, if you have not done NAD+, drgoodbinder.com, the Epigenetics Healing Center, NAD+ is revolutionary. It is actually proven to increase telomere lengths. It actually makes you younger. Telomeres are like a little tail on your cells.
Wow.
And it gets shorter as your cells divide. And after a certain amount of divisions, there's no more tail. You're dead. This actually expands telomere length. And you feel it. You actually feel yourself going back in time when you get it done. kind of can make you a little woozy while you do it, but it's amazing. We do that. And then our nurse practitioner does peptides. So peptides are like this next generation biohacking, which can be everything from, hey, I'm getting older, I want to heal faster, like a peptide called BPC 157.
Mhm.
We do that at high doses, and it's like body protection complex. It literally, you heal. Everything to peptide growth hormone, to testosterone, to making sure that you're not creating too much dihydrotestosterone to swell your prostate or make you lose your hair or mess with your skin and things like that. But it's really a well-rounded, if you want to get down to root cause of why you don't feel vital like a man anymore. Maybe you don't have the same sexual desire that you once had for your wife or your girlfriend, and you're like, I don't know. There's a big change. Sexual desire is a big deal. It's not just, oh, I want to have sex. It's like vitality. I'm a man. I need to conquer, and I have a wife, and there's my wife. I'm going to take her. And that's what that is. It makes you feel so strong and powerful. And exercise is important. Like, you have the exercise stuff here. That's super important, because when you lift weights, your testosterone actually goes up.
Right.
I mean, those things are great. And you know what destroys your testosterone? High stress over long periods of time. So you have to support those systems, because cortisol is actually part of your cholesterol chain. Your cholesterol chain makes all your hormones.
Right.
And so you can engage in something called the cortisol shunt, or pregnenolone steal, where your liver makes cholesterol, which makes cholesterol esters, which makes pregnenolone. Pregnenolone then goes a couple different ways. You can go down and make DHEA and testosterone, or you can go make progesterone and cortisol. So under high levels of stress, you'll pull that, and then you end up deficient in testosterone. You take your testosterone, you go, hey, you're only at 200. We want you at 900.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that you have no desire. You can't build muscles. You're getting a big belly because you can't grow muscle.
Yeah.
You can't feel that. You don't have vitality. Now you're older.
Mm-hmm.
And so blocking some of the stress response is really important. Getting your testosterone up important. And if you're not making enough cholesterol, which, by the way, you do need enough. Cholesterol matters. Getting it down to 0 means you're going to feel terrible. And at 0, you're going to die. But I mean, I see people come in at 88. The American Heart Association did a study showing anything below 160 significantly increases non-cardiovascular disease risk.
Wow, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear as day. So getting your right labs done so we can see what's going on, and then perfecting things, literally putting you in charge of your health and going, this is why everything is the way it is. I'm going to put you on the path. You're going to walk the path. I'm going to hold your hand along the way. We'll keep testing till you're optimal man, and we'll keep you going. And one, that's a great gift for the ladies in their lives, because the ladies want you to be dominant, happy. Hey, let's go play in the yard. Don't just lay on the couch, eat your McDonald's, and watch TV.
Yeah.
Don't just lay on the couch and be like, what'd you make for dinner, honey? Honey, what do I got for dinner? No, feel great. Go in. You make some dinner. Let's eat something. Let's go out. Let's go for a walk. Let's go do something.
And I like that you said that, because a lot of times potency, like, people attach it to sexual desire, when really it's all about like being able to make decisions and have a drive and set goals and follow through on it. And that's what is so important about that.
And confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, they say, the battle is like, so we have our physical body, and like, your mind isn't necessarily your physical body. Your physical body is kind of like your child. Your body wants to do things. Hey, I want an ice cream. Hey, I don't want to sleep. I want to watch this movie until 2 a.m. when I have to get up at 6. I want to go out and drink. I have all these things I want. As the guardian angel of this body, the guardian angel of the person you see in the mirror, you go, listen, hey, you're like a child. I want you to be happy. I want you to get what you want. But I also know I want you to succeed. I want you to be healthy. I want you to have a long, full life. So yeah, we can do these better bad choice cheats. That's fine. But we're going to do the right thing. Whether you want, that's called integrity, doing the right thing whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
Also, I think sovereignty too. You're sovereign over your own entity. You're not allowing all these forces like fast food commercials or other things to really plug into your mind and really sway you. So you're able to understand that, hey, I know what's best for me. I can deflect or translate these external influences that may not be looking out for my best interest, and know that I fully have the moral and intellectual capacity to make the best decision for myself and my family.
Like you're talking about human evolution, kind of like how we've changed. We used to hunt our food. We'd hunt for food. And so we're really good at, I want simple calories. Give me my sugar, give me my fat. I want lots of calories because I'm going to starve tomorrow. So I better eat as much as I can. You know, now our food is literally hunting us. Hey, it's on. I did a water fast. I did a 5-day water fast. This is a couple of years back, and I told my family, I'm like, listen, I'm going to be irritable. I don't want to be around you. I'm going to stay at a hotel. I'm going to take off work and just stay at a hotel. Until you realize every TV show you watch, every 5 minutes has another food ad.
Right.
And it was the worst experience I've ever dealt with. It was horrible. I would never do it that way again, and I didn't. My next time I worked through it, I hung out with my family, and it was 1,000 times better. But right now, our foods, you got the vending machine, you got Snickers, and these aren't even real foods. You got food scientists that have actually integrated and figured out what human beings can't resist. You know what the most perfect food ever made by food scientists is? You have any guesses? There is a specific thing.
There's so many things I could think of.
So the most perfect food that was ever created is cheese puffs.
I was gonna say Cheetos.
Were you really?
Yes, that was in my brain.
So
why
Cheetos,
is that the perfect?
well, because Cheetos require some crunch.
Uh-huh.
Cheese puffs, literally, you put it in your mouth, it becomes liquid.
Yes.
So you don't actually have to masticate it, and it's got enough excitatory neurotransmitters in it to gives you a happy feeling. It goes down, and it'll never make you full. You can eat bag after bag after bag, it will never make you full.
So what's funny is that that used to be my travel road trip food before I discovered like my own wellness journey was those puffs. So gosh, that makes so much more sense.
Oh gosh, it's just awful what's going on. People literally, like, it's in the name of money. Like, hey, I'm going to make the most perfect food that no one will ever be able to say no to. And as soon as I get it, they'll be addicted forever. I used to work for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in the Office of Public Health and Science. I did tobacco research. And when you get into those, I got on all the internal documentation. That was all happening when I was there. Actually, my ordinance is what is now in place for the Cleaner Indoor Air Act in Kansas City, Missouri, and things like that. Now, it wasn't really me because I was the federal government. I'm not allowed to dabble in the state and cities. But anyways, it didn't get passed while I was there. It got passed by vote a little bit later. But it was so corrupt, it was unbelievable. But what you find out is, what's that?
You planted the seed.
I worked very hard at that. But point being, Philip Morris, they couldn't figure out why Marlboro sold more cigarettes than all other cigarette manufacturers combined. That's a lot. And so all other manufacturers got together and said, we're going to advertise more. So they're advertising tons. Everyone's advertising more than Philip Morris at this point, tons and tons. They're not gaining any ground. And they couldn't figure out why. It came into a chemical structure that Philip Morris figured out. They were able to make their tobacco more alkaline.
Oh, okay.
So when you smoke it, it's actually much more volatile. It doesn't stay together. It burns very quickly, goes right to your brain, and then you get rid of it. And so you want another one right away. Everyone else was a longer burn. It was less efficient. They would smoke it, they get a little bit, and it would slowly go out of their body. But Marlboro was in and out. They called it free-base nicotine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's these chemical people are literally taking control of your mind. So it is a lot of power. It's a lot of power going, I'm sovereign over my being. I will make the right decision no matter what. I really want that. I know I want that. Oh, that looks good. Oh, that Subway looks fantastic. I'm not going to get that. I'm going to do appropriate things for my body. I'm going to feel amazing. And because I have all that vitality and potency, I can do anything I want. All that confidence comes right in. I believe in myself because I do it. It's a habit. Every day you do the right thing, and after a while you don't question yourself. Like, I just do it. And that little voice, that kid's voice in your body that wants all those bad things, it shuts up after a while. Just like if you have a child, you go, no, 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 and at some point they stop asking. If you go, no, no, yes, no, all of a sudden they keep asking because they know they can get it.
Right.
Your body's the same way.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, for sure. And I know sometimes you get into the cycle of, oh, well, I deserve it this time, or this horrible thing happens, so this will make me feel better. And so
that's so great. That's the craziest thing.
It's like, reward.
I'm going to reward myself by hurting myself.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what just happened?
Crazy to think that way, but
in
a lot of ways it's true.
Yeah. So we were going to hold questions till the end, and so we do have one. I'm a little curious. So I'm going to try and phrase this in a way that kind of is easier to answer. So I'm going to start with you. When you have people coming into you and they're living in dis-ease, at what point in time or how long do you notice they start making really good decisions where they actually start to notice a turnaround and they start to feel more positive and excited and motivated about their changes?
Well, how long does that take? So typically within my process, so people come to me and they're fairly sick. They have at least one full-fledged diagnosis chronic disease before they come.
Right.
So I'm very specific when people come in. This is what we're going to do. You know, first we're going to sit down. I'm going to sit knee to knee with you, not behind a big desk. I won't be wearing a white coat. We're going to sit just like equals, like we're talking right now. And I'm going to figure out exactly why things are the way they are. And then I'm going to give you a list. These are the labs I want to draw on you. And so it's very black and white. And the first thing we're going to do is you're going to change your lifestyle and have you eat a certain way. And we're going to walk you through that. And within the first 3 weeks of doing exactly what we want, everyone says, oh, it's really hard for the first couple of weeks.
My mom did it, so I remember.
Right? But then they start feeling really good. And they're like, yeah, I just feel so much better. Like I'm sleeping and I have energy and I feel so much better. This is amazing. My bowel movements are great. I've lost this much weight. And yeah, I can do this. And then we try to do those better, bad choices. We teach the better, bad choices so that you can incorporate for the rest of your life. Like I'm going to eat right. I'm going to do the right things, but I'm going to transform to, hey, I've been really stressed out. I deserve this. Well, that new I deserve this becomes a better, bad choice. And you go, I'm eating indulgently. This isn't necessarily healthy, but it's not going to damage me to a point where I end up back in disease.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So about 3 weeks, they start to feel a little bit more motivated.
That's the answer. 3 weeks.
Okay. And then, so kind of the same question for you. I know that you had your own journey when you started making some changes to your lifestyle. When did you start to notice, like time frame wise?
Yeah.
How things started to feel better?
I'm glad Doctor said 3 weeks. I noticed changes within days, almost like 1 week of stopping to eat wheat, stopping to eat gluten. I noticed very considerable changes. So you can notice differences quickly. It's not going to take a long time for you to notice differences. However, when it comes to switching habits, which especially given whatever age you're at, that's a long-standing habit that you've probably been established in. In the wellness world, a lot of research says 3 months, that if you work really hard at having a different reaction or creating new habits in your daily lifestyle for 3 months, it's probably going to become a part of your permanent lifestyle if you can stick to it for 3 months. So while I would say you don't have to think that it's going to wait that long for you to recognize anything, the importance is long-standing change. It's not just feeling better for a few weeks or losing weight for a big party that you're going to in a few months, right? You want to improve your health for, perpetually, for the duration of your life. So it does not take great amount of lengths. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be bumps along the road. It is a journey, but you can see results very quickly along that journey.
Okay, so you kind of went into it. So the second part of that question is, there's always going to be that day that's really hard when you're starting something new. So what's the expectation that you put out to those that you're working with? When can they expect that?
When they want to push back and rebel against the change?
Right.
That does happen. Most people don't do that with me until about 3 months in. You mentioned 3 months. Yeah, so they'll complain initially because there's a big change. I mean, we're literally trying to revamp their lifestyle so they can enjoy themselves and still be healthy. But around 3 month mark, it seems to be this thing where, inside like, well, I did go and start doing this a little bit, but I'm not going to do that again. And I want to let everyone know when that happens, grace.
Right.
You're not a bad person. It happened. Do the right thing the next day and start the good habit again. But don't, because understand, you went 3 months without making a mistake. You did great. You made a mistake once. Imagine this. I'm going to rededicate myself and go another 3 months at least without a mistake, so that this cycle, you keep increasing the length of the good periods and decreasing the length of the bad periods. Because what typically happens is you make a mistake. I'm a smoker. I'm a 2-pack-a-day smoker. I smoke all the time and I quit smoking. 3 months later, I'm like, you know what? I've been fine for 3 months. I can have a cigarette. That addiction's going to be back.
Right.
And I did this because I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker. I quit and then I started. I quit and I started. But the interesting thing, and this is 20 years ago, past life. Real interesting is if you make that mistake, you have to be mentally okay and go, that's fine. I did make a mistake. That was a big deal. I'm going to go longer this time before I make that mistake again, so that you're always improving in different ways. I'm improving because I'm not doing it, and I'm going longer. So it's a 3-dimensional improvement or 4-dimensional improvement.
Well, and it's only a mistake if you don't self-reflect on it
Right.
and learn from it.
Mhm.
So I really love that you have a past that shows us that you were where people are now and you're trying to help them. So you have that story, you can
Mhm.
show them that it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you quit wheat and gluten, did you have a period of time where it was hardest for you?
No, to be honest, I didn't on that aspect. I mean, I can't say that it doesn't happen on other aspects, but that was pretty easy. And I knew that if I needed a cheat day, what did you say? You get one a week.
Yeah.
That ultimately I tested that out, and I noticed I was still within the boundaries, within the confines of being okay. You know, having a sandwich or having something that had gluten in it was not going to just all of a sudden throw me off whack. But bread and gluten is much different than nicotine, which has a lot of science, and it's not just nicotine, right? It's all the chemicals they put into cigarettes that actually make it addictive for you. So it does depend on what it is you're trying to tackle at that time. But recognize you're always going to have stumbles along the road. Otherwise, you probably would have already made that change, right? If it was a no-brainer, if it was super easy, you wouldn't be at the point where you'd be contemplating change. You would already be there. So I think just again, being easy on yourself, giving yourself grace, recognizing that you can have, whether you want to call it a cheat day or a cheat meal, you can enjoy yourself. And I like to say reward yourself. You know, I like to look at it as, hey, if you do everything great for 6 days a week, that 7th day, don't feel like you're in the corner and you're kind of embarrassed that you're doing this. You know, just feel proud. Hey, I'm rewarding myself. You know, I like this food. I know it's not best for me, but I try and strive so hard and bust my tail all week long or 80-90% of the time. I'm going to consider this a badge, you know, a badge of honor or reward when I do it.
Yeah, one of my favorite recipes, honestly, because I'm actually hungry right now. We talked about the better bad choice cheats, and that's my world, right? So I do feel like I get excited. It's going to be higher calorie content. I may put on weight. I may get a little more inflamed, but it's not going to damage me. But I make a milkshake that is out of this world. You ready for this? Here we go. So I'll either get like the Cotto ice cream. It's an avocado-based ice cream, but it tastes amazing. So you would not know the difference. If you're out there and you're like, oh, that's got to be gross. Tastes like regular ice cream. Or coconut milk ice cream. I'll use a whole pint, throw it down into the blender with a little bit of flax milk. I'll throw like 3 or 4 scoops of grass-fed chocolate collagen protein in there with some sunflower seed butter.
See, there you just made it really healthy.
Yeah, well, that's my better bad choice.
Yeah.
And so I make like a protein shake, but it's probably got 1,500 calories in it. Keep this, I mean, it's a high calorie thing.
It's your one meal that day.
That's basically, no, you know, anytime you put the sugar in it, at least for me, I need to keep eating. I can't, it will make me hungrier. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I need more food. But it is like a thick chocolate milkshake with ice cream in it. It's outstanding. And my younger son, he's more of an ectomorph. He doesn't put on a ton of weight. And I'm like, I'll make you a chocolate milkshake in the morning, like every Friday, Saturday, I'm making that milkshake. And he'll drink. I mean, it's great. Everyone thinks it's the best milkshake you've ever had.
Anybody ever wondered what the word is for having a good metabolism? I guess it's ectomorph.
Yeah, like I'm a mesomorph. I put on weight. Like if I eat, I'll build weight. And so like I go to the gym. I talked to a guy the other day, and he's going to do a physique competition. So there's different levels of bodybuilding. There's the bodybuilders. There's classic physique, which I might do a classic physique show. And then there's physique. Physique is like you're a slender person that's just ripped up everywhere and you can see every muscle fiber and you just pose on stage.
Yeah.
Classic physique is more like bodybuilding, except I'm a mesomorph. So I'm going to put on weight. I'm not going to get skinny like the physique guys. And then you do flex on stage. You go and you pop all the muscles out and you go after it. I'm really considering, my wife gave me permission actually. Because I was like, you know, everyone's got hobbies. All I do is work all day from 5:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday. And then I'm just burnt on Fridays. And then I get to take my kids on dates and things like that through the weekend, which is fun. And then sports and all this type of stuff. And I was like, I need a, and she goes, well, why don't you do a bodybuilding competition? And I'm like, you gave me permission. This is amazing. And so I'm in the process of finding the right trainer and all that right now.
Wow.
But I've been working out nonstop for probably, I mean, years and years and years and years. And I work out really hard. And so I'm excited. I bet I'm not that far away from doing competition. I'd love to do it.
Well, I'm excited about that.
Thanks. You'll have to come.
Okay. All right, so we had a
All
great
of you out there, all of you.
we had a great discussion today. We are way over time, but we got some really great feedback from the both of you, some good questions. So I just want to thank both of you for coming today. And so real quick, tell everybody who you are and where you're at.
Dr. J. Goodbinder, Epigenetics Healing Center. We are a functional medicine clinic, an anti-aging clinic, and we actually have a chiropractor on staff as well, which is fantastic. We're at about 435 in Holmes in Kansas City, Missouri. The Epigenetics Healing Center, drgoodbinder.com. You can look us up and make an appointment, come in, and whatever you need, we'll figure out what it is, and we'll go after you and try to get you better.
And you do consultations.
I personally will see you for a consultation. If you want chiropractic, you'll see the chiropractor. If you want anti-aging, you'll see our nurse practitioner for, peptides and hormones and functional medicine. She does some of that too. And then, for me, I'm very specific on functional medicine. I've been doing it for 10 years. Again, we've had patients from 17 different countries come to our office, and it's not because we're just doing run-of-the-mill stuff. The goal is literally the most in-depth testing in the world. If you have some pathology you want handled, if you want something to help you, someone to help you get off a multitude of drugs and polypharmacy and not feeling as potent as you should, or as a woman to be as feminine as you'd like to be and have the body you want and all these type of things and be off diabetic meds and thyroid meds and all these things, come in. I'm not taking you off your medication. We'll get you better, send you back to your doctor, and they'll take you off.
I love that. Okay, so what about you?
Heath Wessling here at the Kansas City Wellness Club down at 9th in Baltimore in the historic Kansas City Club building. And I also want to thank Dr. Goodbinder for joining us today with a lot of his insight. You can see how much he does know about the medical field and genetics and overall health. I want to thank Jennifer for moderating it here for us. And just as some parting last words, I just want to tell all the men out there to be strong and embrace what you've been given. Just as much as this world needs strong women in this world, we very much need strong men as well. So know that you are capable, assume your responsibility in your role, and do whatever you can to improve your life and those around you that you love.
Awesome. This has been fun. I love doing this. It was great.
Yeah,
Hope you guys had fun out there.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.